Boom. The Home Secretary just got caught red-handed in Britain's biggest political cover-up since Partygate. And this time, it involves £700,000 in hidden cash, leaked emails, and a conspiracy that goes straight to the top of Keir Starmer's inner circle. I'm about to show you smoking gun evidence that proves they knew. They planned it, and they lied about it for years. If this doesn't make your blood boil, check your pulse. Hit subscribe because this story is about to explode across every news channel in Britain, and you're getting the full truth before anyone else. Here's what they don't want you to know. Shabana Mahmood, Britain's Home Secretary, the person responsible for law and order in this country, was secretly orchestrating a massive donation cover-up. We're talking about £700,000 that mysteriously disappeared from electoral records for 3 years. Not days, not weeks. 3 full years of systematic deception. The money was flowing into Labour Together, a shadowy think tank run by Morgan McSweeney, Starmer's chief of staff and political mastermind. This isn't some random backroom deal between minor players. This is the Prime Minister's right-hand man running an off-the-books slush fund, while the woman now in charge of Britain's police forces helped cover it up. But here's where it gets absolutely nuclear. Leaked emails from February 2021 reveal that Mahmood and Steve Reed, who's now the minister in charge of electoral law, knew the money was being deliberately hidden from regulators, not forgotten in some filing cabinet, not misfiled by an overworked intern, deliberately hidden. Why would they risk their entire political careers for this cover-up? According to Labour's own senior lawyer, Gerald Shamash, they were protecting Trevor Chin, a Jewish venture capitalist and major Labour donor, from the rising tide of anti-Semitism that was poisoning the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn. So while Corbyn's supporters were spreading hate and conspiracy theories, Starmer's future government was orchestrating financial deception to shield their wealthy backers. Let me paint you the full picture of this conspiracy. The woman now running Britain's police forces, MI5, and every law enforcement agency in the country was part of a coordinated effort to deceive electoral authorities. The man now writing Britain's electoral laws was helping hide political donations from the very regulators he now oversees. And the Prime Minister's chief of staff was running the entire operation from the shadows. This isn't some minor administrative error. This is systematic corruption at the highest levels of government, involving the 3 most powerful figures in Labour's inner circle. And they thought they'd buried it forever. Labour Together wasn't just any think tank. It was the secret weapon that destroyed Jeremy Corbyn and installed Keir Starmer as Labour leader. Founded a decade ago as the moderate wing's answer to Corbyn's hard-left revolution, this organisation raised millions from wealthy businessmen who were absolutely terrified of Corbyn's plans to nationalise industries and tax them into oblivion. Think about the timeline here. From 2015 to 2019, while Corbyn was preaching about transparency and attacking the wealthy elite, Starmer's allies were secretly building a war chest funded by those exact same wealthy elites. The hypocrisy is staggering. They were publicly supporting Corbyn's anti-establishment rhetoric, while privately taking money from the establishment to destroy him. And when the money got too hot to handle, when questions started being asked about where all this cash was coming from, they just stopped reporting it. From December 2017, Morgan McSweeney completely ghosted the Electoral Commission. No reports, no transparency, no accountability. For 3 straight years, £700,000 vanished into thin air like it never existed. The cover-up only unravelled when Starmer became Labour leader in 2020. Suddenly, with Corbyn gone and their mission accomplished, someone whispered, "Maybe we should mention all that cash now." Labour Together finally admitted everything to the Electoral Commission, got slapped with a pathetic £14,250 fine for more than 20 breaches of electoral law, and claimed it was all just innocent human error. Human error that lasted 3 years? Human error that involved the future Home Secretary, the future electoral law minister, and the future Prime Minister's chief of staff. Human error that coincidentally protected a major donor from public scrutiny during the most anti-Semitic period in Labour Party history. Gerald Shamash's leaked email destroys that lie completely. This isn't some junior solicitor, fresh out of law school making wild claims. Shamash is a veteran Labour Party lawyer with decades of experience navigating political scandals. When he puts something in writing, he chooses every word carefully. In his February 2021 email, Shamash explicitly states that the Labour Together directors wanted to be as transparent as possible. Political speak for we want to look good while doing something questionable. But were also acutely aware of the growing anti-Semitism in the party and wanted to protect Trevor Chin from potential backlash. That's not human error. That's a calculated strategy developed by senior political operatives and approved by future government ministers. They weighed the risks of breaking electoral law against the risk of exposing their Jewish donor to anti-Semitic attacks, and they chose to break the law. Now the Conservatives smell blood in the water. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp is demanding immediate answers, calling for police investigations, and asking the nuclear question that should terrify every Labour MP. How can we trust Shabana Mahmood to oversee law enforcement when she might have systematically broken electoral law herself? Philp isn't mincing words here. He's essentially accusing the Home Secretary of conspiracy to defraud electoral regulators, and he's got the leaked emails to back it up. The Conservative Party is demanding that the Electoral Commission reopen their investigation and refer the matter directly to the police. Think about the devastating implications of this. If these allegations are proven true, we're looking at the most senior law enforcement official in Britain being investigated for electoral fraud. The person responsible for overseeing police investigations into political corruption could herself be guilty of political corruption. Here's the smoking gun nobody in the mainstream media is talking about. Steve Reed, who allegedly helped orchestrate this cover-up, according to Gerald Shamash's email, is now the Cabinet Office Minister responsible for electoral integrity and constitutional reform. Let that sink in for a moment. The man who helped hide political donations for 3 years is now the minister responsible for ensuring donation transparency. The person who allegedly conspired to deceive electoral regulators is now writing the rules that govern electoral regulation. It's like appointing a convicted burglar as head of home security, then giving him the keys to rewrite the security protocols. The fox isn't just guarding the henhouse. The fox is designing the henhouse, hiring the security guards, and writing the manual on fox prevention. But wait, because it gets exponentially worse. This isn't just about historical wrongdoing. This is about a two-tier justice system where Labour's political elite operate by completely different rules than ordinary British citizens. While small business owners face prosecution for minor campaign finance violations, while local councillors get dragged through the courts for failing to declare modest donations on time, senior Labour politicians orchestrate years-long cover-ups involving hundreds of thousands of pounds and walk away with a fine smaller than most people's annual council tax bill. The Electoral Commission says they thoroughly investigated Labour together and were satisfied with their sanctions. But that was before Gerald Shamash's leaked email surfaced, before we learned that what looked like incompetence was actually deliberate deception, before we discovered the conspiracy involved future cabinet ministers. This is bigger than Partygate, and here's why. Boris Johnson's lockdown parties were about hypocrisy and rule-breaking during a pandemic. This is about systematic electoral fraud, conspiracy to deceive regulators, and corruption at the very heart of government involving the 3 most powerful figures in Labour's inner circle. We're looking at the Home Secretary, the Electoral Law Minister, and the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, all potentially complicit, in a coordinated effort to hide political donations from electoral authorities. These aren't backbench MPs making innocent mistakes. This is the operational core of the British government. Shabana Mahmood is now trapped in an impossible position that gets more precarious by the hour. As Home Secretary, she has ultimate responsibility for the Metropolitan Police, MI5, the National Crime Agency, and every law enforcement organisation in Britain. How can she credibly investigate political corruption when she's potentially at the centre of the biggest electoral fraud scandal in modern British politics? How can she oversee investigations into financial crime when leaked emails suggest she was party to systematic financial deception? How can she enforce electoral law when she allegedly spent years helping to break it? The timeline tells the complete story, and it's damning. 2015. Labour Together founded to fight Corbyn. 2016. Major donations start flowing from wealthy businessmen. 2017. Reporting to Electoral Commission mysteriously stops. 2018. Mahmood and Reid allegedly discuss hiding donations from regulators. 2019. Corbyn loses election, mission accomplished. 2020. Starmer becomes leader, donations suddenly remembered. 2021. Gerald Shamash confirms it was all deliberate. 2024. The conspirators are now running the country. They thought the smoking gun was buried forever in private emails and confidential legal advice. They were catastrophically wrong. Morgan McSweeney, the man at the centre of this scandal, isn't just any political operative. He's Starmer's strategic brain, his campaign mastermind, his most trusted advisor. If McSweeney was running an off-the-books slush fund with Mahmood's knowledge and Reid's complicity, then this scandal reaches into the very DNA of Starmer's government. This is the political equivalent of discovering that the president's chief of staff was running a secret campaign finance operation with the knowledge of the Attorney General and the head of election security. In any functioning democracy, heads would be rolling by now. But here's what really should terrify every British voter. If these people were willing to lie, cheat, and systematically deceive electoral authorities just to get power, what are they willing to do now that they have it? If they broke the law to defeat Jeremy Corbyn, what laws might they break to stay in power? This government promised transparency after years of Conservative sleaze. They promised integrity after Boris Johnson's lies. They promised a new kind of politics based on honesty and accountability. Instead, we've discovered they were orchestrating electoral fraud before they even took office. The leaked emails raise questions that demand immediate answers. What other donations were hidden? What other conversations happened behind closed doors? What other laws were broken in their quest for power? And most crucially, what else are they hiding right now? Gerald Shamash's email is just the tip of the iceberg. If a senior Labour lawyer was comfortable putting this level of damaging information in writing, what conversations were deemed too sensitive, even for email? What evidence exists in phone calls, private meetings, and encrypted messages? So here's my challenge to every British voter watching this. If these people systematically lied about political donations, orchestrated cover-ups involving electoral regulators, and spent years deceiving the very authorities designed to ensure fair elections, why should we believe anything they say about anything else? When Shabana Mahmood talks about law and order, remember she allegedly helped break electoral law. When Steve Reed talks about democratic integrity, remember he allegedly helped hide donations from democratic oversight. When Keir Starmer talks about transparency, remember his chief of staff ran a secret funding operation that his closest allies helped conceal. The British public deserves better than this. We deserve leaders who follow the same laws they expect us to obey. We deserve transparency from people who campaign on transparency. We deserve honesty from politicians who promise to end the culture of lies and cover-ups. Most importantly, we deserve answers, not spin, not deflection, not claims of would-be human error when leaked emails prove it was deliberate strategy. We deserve the complete truth about who knew what, when they knew it, and why they thought they could get away with it. Drop a comment right now if you think Shabana Mahmood should resign as Home Secretary. Share this video if you believe the Metropolitan Police should immediately investigate these allegations. Hit that like button if you're tired of being lied to by politicians who think they're above the law. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because this story is just beginning. When the establishment tries to bury scandals like this, we dig them up. When they try to spin away electoral fraud, we expose the evidence. When they claim human error in the face of smoking gun proof, we hold them accountable. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. And this cover-up goes all the way to the top of the British government. The only question now is whether anyone will be held accountable, or whether we'll get more of the same two-tier justice system where political elites play by different rules than the rest of us. The truth is out there, and we're going to keep digging until we find all of it.